to start off, just because everyone's parenting journey is a little bit different, so I wanted to give a backstory. And everyone who knows me knows I have a lot to say. So it's an honor to be invited here tonight, and it's a total privilege to sing the praises of Cale. My son Jake has autism, although it's just a piece of who he is. At about 18 months old, he started regressing and losing all the typical milestones that he had acquired. He slipped away into his own world. He lost speech, eye contact, and even nonverbal communication like pointing. He began to hit his head on things really hard constantly and stared at ceiling fans that had to be on year-round. He had meltdowns about everything from lights to sounds and could not convey a single feeling from hunger to illness or even love. He didn't know how to pretend. He didn't feel attachment to anything except for his rituals like lining up Matchbox cars in perfect rows. After his autism diagnosis 15 years ago, no one could tell me where this road would lead or even what level of possibility I could dare to dream. So we just rolled up our sleeves and began. It was endless hours and years of every conceivable type of early intervention therapy. I traveled to every lecture I could find about autism, which in 2005 was pretty scarce. I tried special diets and everything from ABA to PECS. We traveled far every day to a special school and prayed a lot. Season by season and year by year, we started to make gains, like eye contact, a single word, pointing, the head banging decreased, then came expressing wants and feelings. Jake's IQ got higher, vocabulary expanded, and the walls we scaled and the landscape we traversed had finally made him capable of being in a mainstream classroom with lots of support. I thought we had finally crested the mountain, but in reality, we were just getting started. The hardest part of all was still missing, and that was the social piece. The perils of recess, the lunchroom, and gym. It's an ever-changing, unpredictable, and far less structured jungle to persevere daily. This was a nightmare for Jake, especially considering all of these kids had been playing sports and involved in activities for a decade longer than him. Jake's frustrations and anxiety grew because he couldn't keep up and was so overwhelmed. By middle school, the walls were closing in and we had to leave mainstream and go to the therapeutic environment of an alternative school. Middle school is hard for most every kid, but compounded greatly when you have a disability. Most children can join anything they want. From the time they're toddlers, we sign them up for any team, class, or program with a click of a mouse and a swipe of a card. It's not like that for kids with a disability. Until Cale. Acceptance, sportsmanship, leadership, teamwork, the Cale way. Cale provided an outlet for Jake to shine. He didn't have to be the best in the sport to see playing time or to be chosen. Cale rewards effort. Kids celebrate inclusion and cheer on their teammates and their opponents. Jake learned the Cale way, where it's about lifting people up for what they can do. If you have never been to a game, it's a really moving experience and something truly magical to behold, because everyone wins. And not just those on the court or the field, but they win in the marrow of their bones. The win is being able to play. The win is being accepted. The win is belonging. Thanks to Cale, Jake would look forward to games and be so motivated to keep his attendance, grades, and behavior in check so he would not miss an opportunity to shine. And he literally never did. He was eligible for every single game for 2 years solid. Cale stepping stone, he began a path that yielded big results and quantum leaps. He started winning sportsmanship ribbons, which are awarded by the opposing team, which then led to an enormous sense of pride as a leader. A child that struggles so hard socially to fit in or even make a friend now gets to feel an elusive quality like leadership. There is so much you cannot control in life, and you have to play the hand you are dealt, but having a chance to display effort, work ethic, and a winning attitude. And to be recognized for that is worth more than its weight in any gold medal or trophy. Just having a chance. When gym is hard for you socially and teams are all about the W, you don't really get a chance to play, let alone feel good. Bullying is real, and it's especially pervasive throughout teens and competition. When having relationships with peers is difficult and you haven't had an opportunity to play for a decade, you don't have pickup basketball games at the park after school or a season of Friday night lights. There's no homecoming dance and so many rites of passages that we take for granted. Jake desperately needed connection and an opportunity to shine. Cale to the rescue. Sarah to the rescue. Jake's gym teacher, Miss B, Tracy Beneventi, to the rescue. Miss B runs our CAAEL program and was one of the single biggest driving forces in my son's life in high school. So many things came together for Jake, so much so that he was eventually able, slowly but surely, to bridge the gap back to his mainstream high school. A total dream come true after 4 years. His therapeutic school recognized Jake for winning 10 CAAEL sportsmanship ribbons. They had a trophy made for him that featured a basketball, softball, and volleyball player. Marty from CAAEL came to celebrate his victory. Miss B helped to spread the news of his success, and then Plainfield's District 202 wanted to honor Jake as well. Jake was invited to the year-end district meeting to be honored and awarded for excellence in sportsmanship alongside all the other athletes from multiple sports that had gone to state that year. Miss B and Sarah were there to celebrate him too. One of the key factors that sent us packing from the mainstream in middle school was now going to be the cornerstone of the building blocks to rejoin mainstream 4 years later, thanks largely to CAAEL. The way CAAEL made Jake feel, the way he got to participate, and the way it made him feel to lead others has changed his life, just by giving him the chance. Thank you to CAAEL. He now has the ability and confidence to fulfill dreams of playing sports and above all, belonging. Jake is now in a recreational volleyball league and playing high school basketball with the Y. It does take a village, and I'm so thankful for CAAEL and what it has done for my child and thousands of others. I am so thankful for John Martin, his family, his friends, and getting to be a part of his legacy. Thank you.
Alright, I am Jake. I went to Plainfield Academy. I was a student there for 4 years. I was a CAAEL student for 2 years, and I'd like to thank CAAEL on what it's done for me during the years to make me a better person in life. I used to struggle with sportsmanship during my middle school years. Gym was a daily struggle for me back then. Competition escalated. I had a hard time when winning or losing. My anxiety made me feel that everyone was judging me because they had more experience than me. I got into high school, my maturity level went up, and it was important for me to keep my grades up and my behavior together. So I was able to play for CAAEL every week. I started learning the CAAEL way from Miss B during freshman year. Before the season started, she told me that CAAEL was all about sportsmanship and being a leader to other kids. And maybe one day I could be that leader and get recognized. I worked really hard to get to where I am today. I went from being a sore loser to a great leader with good sportsmanship. I've always talked about CAAEL since middle school and couldn't wait to get to high school to experience what it too. I want to talk about this one story where me and my team had a softball game against a team with different abilities, and that instead of running up the score, I just told all my teammates if they got out of a hit, just stay at first. Because it wouldn't be fair to them if we just went around and scored every time. It made me feel good to know my focuses have changed. I'm very grateful for CAAEL coming in my life. It changed the way I felt about competition and helped me elevate my game to include 10 sportsmanship ribbons by being a good sport. It's pretty cool to be here tonight surrounded by people that want kids like me to succeed. Me and my family appreciates all of your help. Sarah, thank you. Miss B, thank you. Miss Melissa, thank you. And CAAEL just made me great, and the passion. I appreciate everyone being here, and thank you for supporting me. Thank you.